Hey everybody, welcome to lessonswithtroy.com. I'm Troy Brenningmeyer. Well, this week's lesson I'm calling Classic Country Double Stops for Open G tuning, so GBD tuning from your thickest to your thinnest string. And this can work for either lap steel or dobro. I do have my Duesenberg lap steel here, but you can apply all these lap steel techniques to dobro as well. If you bought the lesson, it comes with a jam track that I made with Band in a Box, and it also comes with tablature. Now that being said, I didn't write out what I just played there. That was just something that I improvised. But what I did write out was all different kinds of ways to get these double stops. Double stops are playing two strings at the same time, and we're going to be focusing on double stops of intervals of a third and intervals of a sixth. So between just those two intervals alone, using walk-ups, walk downs, playing on the same set of strings, using slants, using palm blocking, using yodel licks. Sliding into them, maybe turning different chords into dominant seventh chords just by walking it down. So we'll be working on all that, all kinds of great stuff. So that jam track, it's actually the chord progression, or it's a chord progression that can work for You're Cheating Heart, Hank Williams Sr. So that's what we're kind of focusing on, is that chord progression. I'm not showing you the melody to that song, but just the chord progression. And you can use everything I show you in this lesson to work on jamming and hitting those chords in that song. So we got a lot to learn. Let's go ahead and jump on in. Okay, so starting there in measure 12, we're going to combine the intervals now, combining thirds and sixths in position here to give you this little exercise for palm blocking and for doing the pinches too. So we've got the heel of our hand on the strings, right? Let's start there and then just let your fingers roll like that, or hand roll to where your thumb is in front of your fingers, to where you're not having collisions there, thumb and index or middle. And we start off with our intervals of a third pinch, right? Strings 1 and 2, and then 2 and 3. And in between each pinch, we're doing a mute. Now we're going to do intervals of a sixth on strings 2 and 4, and then 3 and 5. Now I do thumb and middle, and then thumb and index. And then I'm going to use, for the sixth, I'm going to use thumb and middle, and then thumb and middle. And then we end that with thumb and index for the interval of a third on strings 5 and 4. And then another third on strings 6 and 5. And in between each one of those, we're doing a mute, right? So real slow. A little faster. Okay, and so that would be coming down, that exercise. Now you can do the same thing going up. So it's a little bit tricky at first to get that. So the idea is just play that over all your chord positions. Notice how my hand is just bouncing on the strings. So I'm getting each little pinch is getting its own sound, where you're not getting this. So when you have that wrist turn like that, get the palm on the strings in between each pinch. So all kinds of different ways you can use that as an exercise. You could come down on one chord, move your bar up 1 fret, and go up on the next chord. Move it up again, come down, all kinds of different things you can do. Maybe if you're in a certain key, you can do that over your 1, 4, and 5 chords. Like if we're in the key of C, do it over your C chord. Move up to your 10th fret for your F chord, and then your 12th fret for your G chord. Now the trick is you're not hitting the strings hard with that heel of your hand. It's a light bounce. It's not a real hard bounce. It's very subtle and gentle. And basically you're muting like a split second before you pluck. So it's not, it's kind of the pluck and the mute happens at the exact same time. So right when you pluck, you mute, and you kind of got to get your fingers and the heel of your hand to hit the strings at the same time. That's a great exercise in just getting your fingers used to playing either 2 strings right next to each other, the intervals of a third for strings 1, 2, 2, 3, and then the octave down, and then 2 strings with a string in between on strings 2 and 4 and 3 and 5. Okay, let's go ahead and move on.